So we're going to watch this Asmongold video. It's called Dr. K Attacked on Twitter. So there's been a clip going around of Dr. K. Many people may have seen it. I've already seen the clip of Dr. K. I did have a couple of thoughts on it when I first saw it, but I wasn't going to cover it. But it's a bit slow today, and I saw this Asmongold video, and I was like, oh, I wonder what Asmongold thinks about all this. And then maybe we'll look into the full context a bit more as well. So we'll take a look. We'll take a look. This is great incel content, okay?
So people are pissed off at Dr. K.
So the number one thing that correlates with male suicide is not depression, and this is super scary. There's one study I saw recently that suggests that 50% of men who kill themselves have no history or evidence of mental illness. Oh. And this, I believe the statistic in my clinical practice because I know what depression looks like. I know what bipolar disorder looks like. And half the men that I've worked with, at least, are not actually mentally ill. See, mental illness means a pathology of the mind, which means that the mind is malfunctioning. Most of the suicidal men that I work with, their mind isn't malfunctioning. They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth living. They're looking at things and objectively realizing that there's no way out of this situation. So they turn to suicide. Yep. So I know it's kind of like a very controversial statement, but I think that's what my clinical practice has shown, and there's some research to even back that up. So the number one thing...
So people are mad about this.
So, I mean... I don't think this is true at all. I don't think this is true. I just don't think this is true. The idea that there's no way out, it just seems so fucking retarded. It's like how lefties actually think, how they actually see things. Is like all these people like killing themselves at like 30, 35. It's like you can absolutely, even if you're in debt, you can absolutely turn your fucking shit around and not just be a fucking helpless, useless retard. It's just not true that you literally can't do anything. Yeah, there's always so many ways out. It's like such a, like what a dim view of the world. It's like what but Kuihman, I'm a deaf, mute, blind, quadriplegic. Yeah, it's literally, it's the bed blob meme. That's what it is. 100%. It's like, I can't do anything. There's absolutely no way out. All I can do is just kill myself. It's just not true. It's just not true. It's just so not ever true. Like, obviously, rare circumstances, there are cases where it's true. But for almost every time that someone kills themselves, it is not true that you have no way out other than just killing yourself. No. We'll play it again. He does not say that they feel that there's no way out. He says there is genuinely no way out. We'll play it.
With male suicide is not depression, and this is super scary. There's one study I saw recently that suggests that 50% of men who kill themselves have no history or evidence of mental illness. Oh. And this, I believe the statistic in my clinical practice because I know what depression looks like. I know what bipolar disorder looks like. And half the men that I've worked with, at least, are not actually mentally ill. See, mental illness means a pathology of the mind, which means that the mind is malfunctioning. Most of the suicidal men that I work with, their mind isn't malfunctioning. They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth living.
They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth living.
They're looking at things and objectively realizing that there's no way out of this situation.
They're looking at things and objectively realizing that there's no way out of the situation. No. Where is the to them, you fucking idiot? Listen. Idiot.
So they turn to suicide. Yep. So I know it's kind of like a very controversial statement, but I think that's what my clinical practice has shown, and there's some research to even back that up.
Where is the to them?
So people are mad.
Where is the to them? He says they genuinely have a life that is not worth living. He says they genuinely have a life that is not worth living. That is what he's saying about their life. It is genuinely not worth living. Then he says about their mental state, they have looked at things objectively, free from any subjective interpretation, free from their feelings. They have looked at the facts, and they have realized, not they believe, not they have deluded themselves into thinking. They have realized, they have come to learn a truth, which is that there is no way out. That is what he's saying. That is the only interpretation of what he's saying. So what are you fucking confused about here? He didn't speak optimally. You fucking retard. This guy's a trained fucking like therapist or whatever, numerous years as a streamer, and reiterated his point in numerous different ways with different words that all mean the same things. What do you mean he misspoke? Didn't speak optimally? What the fuck are you on about? It's not speaking optimally. He is making a very clear statement. The meaning of his statement, the intention is very clear. What he's saying is very, very clear. He was clip trimmed. His PhD isn't protected from that. So I know Kenny has not seen the full context. I know Kenny has no idea what this actually means. What do I think he's trying to say? I think he's saying that their situations are genuinely so bad there is no way out. He might be making a comment on the material conditions or something like that. It's still wrong. It's still insane. It's still just not true. Okay, Jade, you're an idiot. Repeat to me as accurately to his statement as you can the meaning of what he was saying. Because you keep saying he's saying different things that he's not saying. You're saying, well, he's trying to make this point. I understand the sort of points he's trying to make. I'm talking about what he's saying. You fucking idiot. Yes, he's affirming the suicidal thoughts of suicidal people. Yes, exactly. Yes. He's saying, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you are fucked. That's what I would say to someone if I was in Discord trying to troll them into killing themselves. That's what I would do. Like, this what guy's meant to be the YouTube therapist, the Twitch therapist, the streamer therapist. Is this what he was saying to Rec for? Yeah, I think your life might just be completely fucked. Yeah, I think there might be no way out. Do you see how fucking insane this is? Like, is it just me that's like... It's like, because it's just, first of all, it's just not true. It's just not true that he would absolutely walk this back, yeah. He would totally walk it back if he ever got pressed tonight because it looks so fucking terrible. It's just not true that there's no way out in like 50% of cases or whatever. The meaning is that he has read, yeah, that's not what it means. The meaning is he read studies that show most men kill themselves, don't have depression or bipolar, etc. Sure, no history of it. No history of it. Okay, first of all. Not they don't have it. There's no history of it. It doesn't prove a negative. So you're already fucking wrong there. Rather that they kill themselves because of their lives and conditions. Yeah, and what does he say about their lives and conditions? He says they are genuinely so bad that the only way out is suicide. He doesn't say their lives and conditions are really bad and that makes them suicidal. He says they are genuinely so bad that they could not be repaired or removed from through any way other than suicide. That is what he says. So you are incapable. You are functionally incapable of representing this accurately. You are functionally incapable of representing this accurately because you literally, I've asked you, you cannot do it. you keep saying things that don't map onto what's being said, you're having a psychotic break or something. That's all I can interpret here. I don't think he is telling people they should kill themselves. No, he's not telling people they should kill themselves. He's saying, well, yeah, your life is super fucked. In fact, it's so fucked that the only thing you can do is either continue living in total abject misery or kill yourself. He's not saying you should do it. He's just saying your only options are abject misery, total suffering, or death. That's what he's saying. I don't think the logic maps on, because if he genuinely thinks that, why be a therapist and help? Well, he's saying this is something he's come to over a number of years. He probably doesn't only treat men. I don't think he actually works as a proper therapist anymore. He's more of an advocate and does these fucking programs. Numerous reasons. You can't just say, well, he's a therapist, so he obviously doesn't mean that. What a fucking stupid argument. Do you think if you were talking to him that he believes that, or is he just writing to the fact that people's lives are shitty and hopeless? I'm not a mind reader, so I can't go, oh, well, I'm divining from Dr. K's head. Oh, yep, he's going to walk that back if he's ever pressed on it. Obviously, Kenny is theorizing that, and I would probably lean towards that he would walk it back if it ever got pressed on it. But I don't think it's because he doesn't believe it. I think it's because he knows it looks terrible. I think it's because he knows that it's... Yeah, he shouldn't be a therapist if he's saying shit like this. He shouldn't be in the position he's in if he's saying this shit. Neither can I, but I can get some general ideas by spirit of what he's saying. Yeah, except what my interpretation requires me to read the words, listen to the words that he's speaking, understand the meaning of them, and then put it into a new sentence. Yours requires you to come up with a new sentence, a whole new thing that's not been said, a different thing that is kind of hinted towards, but is actually something you would want him to say, and then go, oh no, that's what he actually means. That's what he actually means. That's what he actually means. It's insane. It's just retarded. He's clearly saying their lives are so bad, there is no way out. He said, their lives are so bad, there is no way out. Objectively, they've realized that. That's not just, their lives are shitty, they think it's really bad, it makes them depressed. That's not it. That's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. He's saying their lives are actually as bad as they think they are. You should kill yourself.
About this. People are pissed off. And it's like, obviously, he's not saying that they should kill themselves. He's talking about it from their perspective, right? It's
no,
like,
he's not. Where did he say that? Where did he say that? He's not saying they should kill themselves. That's not quite what he's saying. But he's also not saying anything Asmongold's saying. He's also not saying that either. Is he? At all. He didn't say from their perspective. There was none of that. In fact, he said the opposite of from their perspective. From their perspective would be subjective. Dr. K very specifically used the word objective. This is the opposite. He's saying the very opposite of what you think of what you're claiming he's saying, Asmongold. I don't think Asmongold actually thinks he's saying. I think Asmongold's rewording it because all these OTK freaks and big streamers are all in bed with each other, and this fucking Dr. K. Let's take it easy. This Dr. K fella, Ayurveda peddler, snake oil salesman, obviously has a bunch of deals with like Twitch and OTK, I imagine.
seen the context, but like, tell me, am I wrong? That's clearly why. It's like, from their perspective, they think that their life isn't going to get any better. So like, they logically come to this conclusion rather than come to this conclusion through a manifestation.
Yes, this is it. But obviously, he's not saying that because it's would be insane for a mental health professional to be spouting this shit. It couldn't possibly be that he's just saying what it sounds like he's saying in 3 different ways, reaffirming it, being very clear.
Of some sort of actual pathology of the mind, like he says. But people don't understand that, and they're getting pissed off at him, right? This is crazy. Why live your life is stupid. Well, why not take a huge risk? What do you have to lose? Well, that's again what you have to teach people, right? And that's clearly what the point is. Life's not worth living is bullshit intended to pander to social media audience. Not.
So we're saying no mental health professionals would be in favor of physician-assisted suicide. Nope. Actually, nobody said that ever. Nobody said. I'm sure there's cases where people would be in favor of physician-assisted suicide. However, Dr. K said that it's the case for about 50% of men that their lives are so bad that when they kill themselves, that was actually the only way out. That's what Dr. K said, you fucking moron. If you actually listen to what was said, understand the words being said, understand the argument being had on stream for the last like half an hour. If you take like 5 seconds to do that, you would be aware of that. But that's okay. That's okay. I understand that streamer chats are essentially adult daycares. So I filled you in and we can move forward.
No, like, bro, I feel like that sometimes, right? Like, I remember whenever I was younger, like, I thought to myself, I was like, damn, like, whenever I get older, my life is just going to suck dick more and more every year. Like, why am I alive, right? Because, like, if you are, like...
Oh, well, I guess that means you were right then. Oh, well, I guess that means you're right, objectively.
I don't know, like, especially under 21, things are going up, right? But, like, whenever you get to, like, I don't know, a bit after that, you're going to feel like, oh, now things are going down. You know, now you're going to have more health problems. Now you're going bald. Your parents are aging. You have to get a job. Like, what's the next good thing that's going to happen to you? And it's like, if you can't find that, you don't know where that is in your life. Of course you're going to fucking think that. Doesn't mean that you're mentally ill. It means that you're not. You can see what's going on in your own fucking life. Doesn't mean you should kill yourself. It's not the solution. But that's the way people feel. You have to understand that, like, if you want a tweet to do really well on Twitter, you have to make...
Dude, Jade, you are so insufferably fucking stupid. I don't actually know how you operate. I'm sorry, but it's actually crazy. I don't know, dude. I get your frustration. I think people are way too charitable to Dr. K, but I just don't see the huge stretch that he's referring to people's conditions making them suicidal, not mental illness. Because he reaffirms in 3 different ways. He says they have looked at their life objectively. Objectively. That means it's fact. Okay, first of all, that means it's fact. They've looked at, they've realized that it's fact. Their understanding is true. They have realized this is not belief. This is not delusion. That's not what that means. It means it's free of subjective judgment. Objective versus subjective. That is a dichotomy. And then he says realizes. Realize is a word you use when you come to understand something, when you know something. Not when you believe something, not when you're deluded about something. That is not... That is how you use the word realize. That is how you use the word realize. So he's a... What was the other one? What was the third one? We have to go back. 2 minutes 30.
A pathology of the mind, which functioning, they genuinely have a life that is no longer worth
They
living.
genuinely have a life
They're
no longer
looking at
worth
things
living.
and objectively realizing that there's no
Objectively
way out of this.
realizing there's no way out.
So they turn to suicide.
Sorry, can we hear that again?
Their mind isn't malfunctioning. They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth
They
living.
genuinely have
They're
a life
looking at things
that
and
is no
objectively
longer worth
realizing that
living. Objectively realizing there's no way out. You're a fucking idiot if you interpret that any other way than how I'm saying it. You're actually stupid. You do not speak English. You do not speak English. You're coming up with new statements. You're coming up with new statements that he did not say. You're adding in new words saying from their perspective that are the complete opposite of what he said. He said objective. From their perspective is subjective. Jade is contesting this. I think someone else was contesting it. There is no other way to interpret these statements unless you're actually saying that he misspoke repeatedly over multiple sentences when he's been a streamer for like 5 years, mental health professional for even longer. You're a fucking idiot. Confidently misspoke 3 times. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know how we're still arguing this.
There's
It's
no
fucking
way out
crazy.
of the situation. So they turned to suicide.
Yep.
So I know it's kind of like a
Tragic. Yeah, it
very
is. It's
controversial
sad.
statement, but I think that's what my clinical practice has shown, and there's some research to even back that up. So the number one thing...
So people are mad about this. People are pissed off. And it's like, obviously, he's not saying that they should kill themselves. He's talking about it from their perspective, right? It's like, I haven't...
Yeah, no, he doesn't speak English. Yeah, that's what it is. He doesn't know what the words mean. Also, I forgot we were watching.
You have to make the tweet stupid. Because if the tweet tries to communicate an idea, it won't work. Because people on Twitter are stupid. The best argument is not an argument. You have to make people think something by some form of other emotional persuasion. And I think that, like, really what this shows is, like, in my opinion, like, this is in a way like actual empathy, where you can legitimately see the way another person feels. Like, you actually try to...
It's not about how they feel. He didn't talk about how they feel. He said they've come to an objective realization. He said their life is genuinely not worth living.
Put yourselves in that person's shoes and think about how that person actually feels in the situation, rather than just going and being like, well, this is what I would do, and this is my viewpoint, and so you should do the way that you should.
Yeah, guys, remember, don't go and try and seek out a new career. Don't try and retrain a new skill. Don't try and look for a new job. Don't try and move out your parents' place. Don't try and get a girlfriend. Just kill yourself.
Should do it the way that I think that it should happen. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's not you. That's not you, bro. Like, what is this? Yeah, you're so correct here. Yeah, and like, I think that this post here, it goes to show that how little people actually have empathy. They don't really have any empathy. They just want to hear their viewpoint repeated, and they view people that repeat their viewpoint as empathetic, and people who don't as not. So
what? What does that have to do with anything?
much of the like dialogue and so much of the like self-help and shit like this on the internet is actually, this is my opinion, is only there to make people feel good about bad decisions that they've already made and justify future bad decisions. It's not actually there to challenge the individual. It's not there to improve their life. It's there to validate their pre-existing notions and make them feel like they're doing the right thing. And so it shouldn't justify it. Yeah, exactly. And so like, this is why, for example, you have all these people, like whenever I say that, you should stop, spending all your time on the internet playing video games all the time, people get mad about this. And they say like, oh, well, if your job is bad, you should work toward
you. But this is the opposite of what Dr. K is saying. Dr. K is being like, well, he's saying, oh yeah, all those guys that kill themselves because they've had no job for ages and they live with their parents and they have no girlfriend, they've never had a girlfriend, never touched a woman, they're black pill incels that are ugly as fuck and deformed and play video games all day. They can't help themselves, so they can't help themselves. Why would they bother? There's no way out. There's no way out. There's no way out. Like, no, Jade, you're an idiot again. I'm restating how stupid you are. I think the main thing we were in disagreement in, or I take his statements as descriptive, but you will think it's also prescriptive. No. I'm saying it's descriptive. I'm saying it is false, and even if true, is the wrong thing for a mental health professional to say, because you shouldn't tell people they are right about the thing that's making them want to kill themselves. No, no, that's not a prescriptive statement. That's not what prescriptive statement means, Jade. You don't know what that word means. Never use that word in my chat again, or I will ban you. Jesus Christ.
Getting a better job. People get mad about this. Why do they get mad about this? It's very simple, because people don't want to hear that what they're doing is wrong. So the type of like self-help that happens on the internet is generally actually toxic, because all it does in the popular stuff is that it just tells people that the bad thing that you're doing is actually okay and it's not your fault. It's like the reason why you spend 12 hours a day jerking off to furry porn for animals that don't exist isn't because there's something wrong with you and you need to get a job. No, it's because of capitalism and Donald Trump. Like, the reason why you can't get a girlfriend isn't because you have 35 different figures.
Wait, no, this would be more like Dr. K's argument now, isn't it? Because he's making an argument about material circumstances, and now Asmongold's being like, people are dumb for blaming it on material circumstances. What?
That what they're doing is wrong. So the type of like self-help that happens on the internet is generally actually toxic, because all it does in the popular stuff is that it just tells people that the bad thing that you're doing is actually okay and it's not your fault. It's like the reason why you spend 12 hours a day jerking off to furry porn for animals that don't exist isn't because there's something wrong with you and you need to get a job. No, it's because of capitalism and Donald Trump. Like
that's literally the argument that Dr. K was making. He's saying it's about the circumstances, and now you're talking about bootstraps. Dude, I can't. How's he saying this while pretending he's agreeing with him? I can't do it, man. I fucking hate this Dr. K shit so much. Breaks people's fucking brains.
The reason why you can't get a girlfriend isn't because you have 35 different figurines of lollies that like you don't want to shine a black light on them on. That's not the reason why you can't get a girlfriend. It's because of hoflation, and women nowadays only want to fuck chads, and the internet is out to get me. Like, and this is the thing, right?
True.
So it's
That's
like,
true.
why is it you just always get to hear the thing that reaffirms what you're already doing? It's hoflation. Yeah, that's right, guys. And so this is what happens, right? And so like whenever you have somebody like Dr. K who's actually trying to help people, and isn't afraid of,
Good
you know,
guy,
like
Dr. K. Good guy, Dr. K. Harvard therapist. He's just trying to help people. Just little old Dr. K with his multi-million-dollar mansion, and I imagine he's got a multi-million-dollar mansion. It is his massive organization. He's just trying to save the world, guys. He's just got to give us some AoE healing, guys. He's trying to do the right thing. He's totally a fucking grifter. Oh, man. This makes me want to get even. Holy shit. Yeah, like benevolent monk. Benevolent Hindu. Reading your doshas. Careful when your chakras online. Oh man. I hate this shit, man. I can't believe there's people gaslight me about what's being said here.
oh, somebody might take this the wrong way or whatever, treats people like adults.
It's not about taking it the wrong way. It's not about that at all. It's the way he said it is the exact meaning of it. The exact meaning of it is that they are correct about their lives.
You see the programming with people that have so many different levels of learned helplessness that are just like hard-coded into them. They're just malfunctioning because they're not hearing the thing that makes them feel good. You're right, fucking NPCs. That's right. Drives me fucking crazy. What he said is dangerous? Yeah, and what other people say is dangerous. Anything
I love the irony of Asmongold chat is calling other people NPCs.
can be dangerous to anyone. What's your point? Yeah, forks are more dangerous. Again, he's speaking out of empathy. Yeah, actual empathy. And that's what I was saying before about how so many people don't even have the context to even understand what real empathy is. And whenever they see it demonstrated in video form, they're just like, they actually can't think of themselves as another person.
That's real empathy. That's real. When you say Empathy is when you say, yeah, you're correct about everything you think. That's empathy. That's what empathy means. I'm lost. I'm gonna do something terrible.
See another person's perspective at all. Yeah, bro, like imagine, bro, people are getting mad at Dr. K. It's amazing. Fucking amazing.
Dang, lots of pay pigs in here. Good job, Kuihman. Still not enough though, guys. Guys, listen, like, subscribe, donate, buy a membership, get a membership, buy a super chat if you can. Thank you very much. Okay. Where's this from? Where's this clip from? Does anyone know? So again, how are people just deluding themselves into thinking this is what he's saying? It's not what it's just not what he said. I'm a therapist. Dr. K is just describing the difference between depression as a mental illness and feeling depressed because your life is authentically depressing. A lot of young men feel despair and see no way out. That's correct. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. Not what he said at all. It's not what yeah, they're filling in the blanks. They're adding in a bunch of extra stuff to make it sound like it's not insane. But it was insane. It was an insane thing to say. Am I the only one who blames Dr. K for Rekful's death? It should be a meme. MrGirl blames Dr. K for Rekful's death. What are you on about? Yeah, the whole thing about it. Did the Reckless documentary. Like stream equals... Oh, sorry. Like streaks equals rare quigglers. 10 days, I got cat maid outfit. 25 days, has anyone unlocked yet? Oh, man. Kuihman, Chud cat noised for free. You're asking $500, correct? Yep. Listen, I ain't doing that shit. I ain't doing that shit. Chud doesn't have people waiting to put him in a dress. Okay. When we start mewing, we've been mewing. I haven't been mewing. But I should be mewing though, really. Mewing's epic. What about cat air attachments? Not happening. Never. Mewing regimen is lacking. I caught lacking on the mewing regimen. It's over. Okay. Right. What else are we doing? Have we got this full Dr. K video? Does anyone know what this full Dr. K video is? Oh. Kenny's linked it to me.
To know what my life is like. How does he have any right to complain? And even your mind will tell you this. You'll look at these people and you'll be like, yeah, I don't have a right to complain. But now we need to stop for a second and think about what it does to your psychology when you as a human being...
Is this... Oh, you've gone past it. Okay. Should we just watch this segment or should we watch through the whole thing? How long is it? An hour and a half? How are we feeling? Please, no. We'll watch it. Watch a segment.
You used the word losers there. You did little air quotes for anyone that can't see you right now. I'm really interested when you talked about incels as well, whether the way society is and the way that we're heading in terms of clarity over what it is to be a man has had any impact on those people that you referred to as incels. Like I'm, you know, like, because we now have this digital world that we can live our lives in as a distraction from the real world. And there's now more confusion than ever over what it is to be a man and the role of a man in a, you know, and then we look at the stats around suicidality. And I think in Europe, the biggest killer of men under the age of 45 is themselves currently. Mm-hmm. Is the shifting idea of what it is...
I'm sorry. almost nobody under 45 in the Western world has a life so bad that their abject misery can only be solved via suicide.
To be a man having an impact on people's sense of self and their purpose.
100%. So there's a crisis that's going on in men, and people think that this is new, but I don't think it's new. It's always been there. So if you look at, like, you know, even 50, 60 years ago.
Wait, Kenny, what do you think is happening?
80% of suicides are still going to be men.
Or
so
you
historically, men have been
myself.
killing themselves for like 100 years, and no one's been paying attention. We're just noticing now because the problem seems to be getting worse. So there's a couple of things that are really interesting to understand. So one is that if we look at what technology is doing to our brains, the first thing that it's doing is it is externalizing our attention. So if you look back, like, let's say 1,000 years ago, as human beings, we spent a lot more time with ourselves. So let's say that you and I go out hunting. And then let's say you shoot an arrow at a deer and you miss. And then I shoot an arrow at a deer and I hit. So in this moment, I'm superior to you. And then we pick up the deer and we're carrying it back. And then we have about 2 or 3 hours to take
this
that
is like Jordan
emotional
Peterson lobster shit. This is like horrific to listen to for anyone that's not a total virgin.
insult. And we kind of process it. We just give our mind space to process it, which it does automatically. Now, if you look at what happens in people's days, they don't actually have any time to process what happens to them because we are so constantly distracted by external things. So I don't know if you're like this, but I was in this point where I was idiotically efficient. So I would wake up in the morning and I would listen to a podcast while I'm like doing my exercise or whatever. And then even when I'm cooking, I'm listening to a lecture. And then like when I'm walking to the train, I have earbuds in and I'm listening to a lecture there. On the train, I'm reading. I wanted my life to be completely efficient. I didn't want to waste a single moment.
I literally listen to the news in the shower.
Right? So we don't want to waste time. And so if you really think about it, where's the attention of your mind? Your mind is pointed outside of you. And so then what happens is once we do not pay attention to ourselves, we lose sight of our internal signals. Literally in the same way that if you raise a child in a dark cave, the photoreceptors in their eyes won't develop. They will atrophy. So anything that the mind does not get access to will start to atrophy. If I don't practice Spanish, I'm going to forget Spanish. The brain is a very efficient organ. So as we externalize our attention, we lose sight of our internal signals. We don't know who we are anymore. And now if I don't know who I am, how do I figure out who I'm supposed to be? I pay attention to the outside. Where are the answers? They're on the outside.
Jesus
So this person is
Christ.
talking about masculinity. This person is talking about what it means to be a man. This person is
Okay, here we go.
talking about what it means to be a man. And now since I don't have any internal source of information, I'm trying to figure out what it means to be a man from the outside world. And this is when men get truly fucked. Because what it means to be a man, we're getting all kinds of mixed signals. So on the one hand, it means being physically fit. On the other hand, it means being a provider. On one hand, it means having sex with as many women as you can find. On the other hand, it means having sex with just one woman and being a really solid man and being a good father. And then there's also people telling us that being a man means that you're shit, right? That you're toxic, that your testosterone level makes you violent, that you're evil, that you're privileged, that there's a patriarchy, all this kind of stuff. So we're getting all this information from the outside about what it means to be a man. And so the other, like, there are all kinds of interesting ramifications of this. So men in today's society are not allowed to complain. So if you complain and you're a successful person or a privileged person, everyone is going to think you're arrogant. Everyone is going to think, oh my God, who's this fucking guy? This guy doesn't know what my life is like. How does he have any right to complain? And even your mind will tell you this. You'll look at these people and you'll be like, yeah, I don't have a right to complain. But now we need to stop for a second and think about what it does to your psychology when you as a human being are not.
Okay, so there he said this is about their perspective. Okay, so let's go through this carefully, all right, from here. He says 19 minutes in chat, okay? Kenny's saying. All right.
You'll look at these people and you'll be like, yeah, I don't have a right to complain.
So,
but now we need to stop for a second and think about what it does to your psychology when you...
He's saying from your perspective, your mind will tell you, you don't have any right to complain. You don't have any right to complain. Everyone else has got it so much harder. You don't have any right to complain. That's what he's saying about their perspective.
You as a human being are not allowed to articulate your suffering. I've worked with people who've grown up in abusive households where children will say to their parents, Mommy, Daddy, I'm hurting. And the parent smacks him across the face. How dare you? You're so lucky. You don't realize the sacrifices I make for you. It's traumatizing to the child when they say, I am suffering and no one listens. This is what we're doing to the generation of men. People are saying, I am suffering. For 100 years, men have been killing themselves. 80% of suicides are men. The most dangerous thing for a man under 45 is themselves. And these people have been literally killing themselves because no one has been listening to them. So in the same way that you grow up with
So, like, okay, this is like a massive... I feel it's a total reduction of the issue, but okay, sure, that's okay.
As a child in a household that's abusive, where no one takes you seriously, no one listens to your suffering, and now we even have successful men who are not allowed to complain. So the psychological impact is the same. Anytime you have a human being who is suffering in some way and they cannot find connection with another human being, they cannot find compassion with another human being, that person is going to feel isolated. And if you look at the statistics on suicide, it's very interesting. So the number one thing that correlates with male...
So this is an independent thought now, okay? So he said, go back. So he's talking about the inability to form social connections, the fact that no one around them's listening. He says, society's not listening, and you have no social connections, so no one around you's listening.
Takes you seriously. No one listens to your suffering. And now we even have successful men who are not allowed to complain. So the psychological impact is the same. Anytime you have a human being who is suffering in some way and they cannot find connection with another human being, they cannot find compassion with another human being, that person is going to feel isolated. And if you look at the statistics on suicide, it's very interesting.
So that's it. That's the end of that thought now. So he talks about society not listening, your friends not listening, your people around you not listening, feeling isolated. And it's like, okay. And then you look at the statistics on suicide. Okay, so we're onto a new thought.
So the number one thing that correlates...
We are literally, the last time he mentioned something being from their perspective, from their judgment, was not that last thought. It was the thought before that, where he was talking about the fact that your judgment makes you feel like you don't have a right to complain. So we're so far detached from the idea of it being a statement on the subjective experience of a material condition. He's going to be very
male
clear
suicide
here.
Is not depression, and this is super scary. There's one study I saw recently that suggests that 50% of men who kill themselves have no history or evidence of mental illness. And this, I believe the statistic in my clinical practice because I know what depression looks like. I know what bipolar disorder looks like. And half the men that I've worked with, at least, are not actually mentally ill. See, mental illness means a pathology of the mind, which means that the mind is malfunctioning. Most of the suicidal men that I work with, their mind isn't malfunctioning. They genuinely have a life that is no...
It's like, yeah, okay, so I don't know the truth of that statistic. I could believe that. And even if the statistic's not true, I would even be willing to forget the statistic and take the general message of it, which is that a lot of the time male suicide is influenced by circumstances. I would even be willing to take that. Even on that point, I could concede it. He's like a pop psych guy. He doesn't need to be crazy big on exact research all the time. Like, fuck it. I'll let that slide. So even that, I'll let slide.
No longer worth living. They're looking at things and objectively realizing that there's no way out of this situation. So they turn to suicide.
But this, very clear, very fucking clear.
Their mind isn't malfunctioning. They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth living.
They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth living. That is genuinely their life.
They're looking at things and objectively realizing that there's no way out of this situation.
They are objectively realizing there's no way out.
So they turn to suicide. So I know it's kind of like a very controversial statement, but I think that's what my clinical practice has shown, and there's some research to even back that up. So if we sort of look at what's going on with men, we're sort of, they have nowhere to turn to. And the number one thing that correlates with it is not mental illness, but is a sense of thwarted belongingness. So this is kind of like multivariate regression analysis. But basically what happens is what causes people to kill themselves is they try to connect with others and they get rejected. So it's specifically a very specific research term called thwarted belongingness. So I try to belong to a group, and that group, or multiple groups usually, will thwart my attempts to join the tribe, to join the community. And this is what actually correlates a lot with suicidality. So what's going on with men right now is that we really don't allow them to suffer, because then you're not manly.
So yeah, and then he's saying that the biggest predictor is social isolation. He's just going back to that point, reiterating that. So I don't know how you're taking this as anything other than exactly the words he is speaking, the words that he reaffirms repeatedly, that he makes his meaning very fucking clear. He is very specific. I do not know how you could take it any other way. Some of it's boilerplate therapy speak, fucking mental health advocate bullshit. Some of it is fucking insane. But he was very clear. Their lives are genuinely not worth living. It's an objective judgment, free from subjective interpretation. That is what objective means. I need to reiterate this, because Boots tried to contest my definition of subjective earlier. Objective is obviously in contrast to subjective. Subjective relating to the subject, meaning that it depends on the individual. You said it was true. Yes, I mean it's not relating to the individual. Not relating to the individual. It's the opposite of subjective. It obviously means the opposite of what? Kill yourself now. Boots, there is no way out. There is no way out. There is no way out. Kill yourself now. Holy fuck. Oh. Relating to objects outside of the self, i.e. out in the world. There you go. Thank you, Dean Simon. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Kenny, given that you and people who are just like obviously wrong are the only ones saying that I'm wrong. People who can't form their thoughts into a sentence. I'm gonna go with me being right. You could debate me out of it. Come on stream then, Kenny. Come on. Come debate me. I'm in the channel. I'm here. Hey Kenny, what's your argument? Let's hear it.
So your problem is with the objective thing, right?
It's with all of it. He said objectively and it's genuine. That's genuinely the way.
Yeah, Gen too. I agree with him. I think they genuinely and objectively believe it, but they don't have the full information. So what they come to is false.
No.
And then
nope, that's not how it works. It's not what objective means, Kenny.
What does objective mean?
It means that it relates to something outside of the self.
Okay, which is the facts they're getting from outside. Does that mean they get all the facts from outside? What if they're lacking information? Objective doesn't mean what's the word? Omnipotent?
Okay, then why do you use the word realize?
I mean, you could realize from any amount of facts.
But you don't realize false information, do you?
It's not false information. It's not full information. But let's say I give you like
sorry, you don't realize a false conclusion. Realizing is used when something is true.
Huh?
You don't realize a false conclusion. You use realize when you've come to a correct conclusion.
Based on where are you getting that from?
Because that's
you can
what
realize something.
Means.
Really?
Oh, define realize. Become fully aware of something as fact. Understand clearly. Yeah, that's what realize means.
No.
Kenny lost.
No,
Kenny
you know
lost.
what?
Kenny lost.
No, I don't think he's. No,
look how it goes when he pulls up in VC. He's so fucking brave in chat all the time. And then he
what?
Raped in VC. Raped in VC. It's so over for you, dude. Oh man.
What?
That's it. If
no,
I can get
where are you getting this?
Here, bro, you're out of here.
No.
You're done now. You're done. It's too easy. It's just too easy.